this tutorial, we're going to use iMovie to create a video. To get started in iMovie, once you're in the console, you can create a new movie by clicking on this Create New and selecting Movie. I've already started a new project where I've actually imported some video clips, images, and audio. In order for you to import media that you found online or perhaps you've recorded or created yourself, you would just simply click on the import button and find them on your files within the file manager, and then you would just select them and they would automatically import into the area so you can start working with them within iMovie. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of things with this console so you can see how you can create a movie very quickly and easily. We're going to import video clips. We're going to learn how to import images. We're going to add some music and talk about how you can add some audio voiceovers as well. We're going to add text, and finally we're going to talk about adding some transitions. Alright, iMovie is very simple to use. We're just going to go through a couple of basic things so you can get started quickly and easily. Once you've imported your content, you can just drag and drop it to the timeline down below, and basically that's all you have to do. So I'm going to start with this video clip, and I'm just going to click and drag down to the timeline. And once you've done that, you've created a movie. Okay, so I don't really want this much of this particular clip. I have 29 seconds. I want to create, right now I'm going to do Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I'm going to do the first stanza. I'd like this to be my Twinkle Twinkle Little Star line, and I don't need 29 seconds worth of video to do that. So I would really like to clip this, and in order to do that, you can just go to the end of this video and you can see where there's the double arrow, and you can just drag it to the destination size that you want. You can also press the R key while dragging to select a particular range to clip, copy, delete, whatever you would like to do. I'm actually just going to drag it and select a particular time. So I want it to be about 6 seconds. If you double click on it, up here you get some options as well. You can work on the color correction. You can do this wonderful automatic improve your video and audio quality. You can crop it. If you've actually done your own videoing and you want it stabilized, there's a stabilizing option. You can change the speed if you want it slow, fast, freeze frame, or you can actually even reverse the direction that it's going in. So there's a lot of little cool options that you can do to edit your video. The other thing that you can do is if you click this I button, it'll tell you the name of the clip and when it was imported, but it'll also give you the duration. So right now we're only using 6.3 seconds out of a total of 29 seconds. So instead, if you wanted to just select your duration up here, you can do that as well. If you don't care where it's coming from, usually it'll just take the first part of your clip. Okay, so those are some basic things that you can do to edit your edit your video. You can also bring in just plain images into your setup as well. So I've downloaded some images here, and you can tell the difference between the images and the video. The images are shown with this little camera in the left-hand corner. And I'm just going to drag it and drop it down into my timeline. Now I would like it to be a little bit longer, so I'm just going to drag it to also be around 6 seconds. And what you'll notice as you are kind of moving the timeline, or if you push play, is that it actually looks like it's not just a plain old image, that it's actually a video clip. What's really great about iMovie is it does give you this sort of what they call a Ken Burns effect. So you can set the start of where you want the image to start and the ending point, and it'll zoom in or out depending on how you have these set, and it'll let you change those start and end points and also the direction that they go in. So if you want it to be a little bit different look, or you want it slowed down, or you want it really zoomed in into a particular area, you can do that. So you can make still images actually come to life. So if you have a particular project that you really wanted to use a lot of still images for, say you're a photographer and you took a lot of pictures and it really just kind of speaks to you, but you don't want it to just be static, you can use this feature to really liven up your images and make them come to life and look like video. Alright, so I'm just going to drag another video onto the timeline, and I'm going to drag this video onto the timeline. And again, this video, if you take a look at it, let's just kind of move this line here. It's got a little bit of information about this video on here. This came from NASA. And so what I want to do is I actually want to get rid of this part. I will put this in the credits at the end, but I don't want to mess up the flow of my video with the information just sort of stuck in here. So we can actually use those arrows to drag and remove that. And I'm actually going to remove even more. And then there's actually a little snippet here at the end as well. So I'm going to kind of clip this so it's a little bit smaller. So let's just make this around 10 seconds or so. That's good enough. Okay. The other thing I have are audio clips, and I just, again, have downloaded these are royalty-free audio clips. If you go to your audio panel over here, it's going to bring in everything that you have in your audio file. So if you have MP3s or CDs that you've downloaded to your computer, they're going to show up here. So be very careful not to just take any audio that shows up within iMovie, because there could be some copyright infringements. You want to make sure that you're downloading royalty-free, or you're creating your own music when you're going through and pulling that information in. And I just highly recommend that you just import it into the My Media area, so you don't end up accidentally pulling in something that probably shouldn't be part of your video to begin with. So I actually just imported this into my timeline, and I'm just going to put this down here so the audio comes in on a separate thing, and you can edit it separately. And I'm actually going to I'm going to decrease the size of this because it's going way past my video. So let's just kind of match this up with my video. Okay, so let's just quickly play, and anytime you want to see or preview what your movie looks like, you just click the play button. And now you can hear the music and see the video and how it's transitioning your image with its particular movement, and then the next image and how it's going to look. Okay, so far it's looking pretty good. We've already got a movie with audio overlay. So if you were going to read your poem, one of the things you can do is you can actually just click within here and record a voiceover. If you wanted to record it in a separate program to get audio effects or whatever, you could do that and then import it into the import panel. But you can also just very easily do a voiceover within iMovie. Once you've got all of your videos set up, you can do voiceover, you can add music on top of your images and video. The other thing that we can do is we can add titles, which if you want your poem to be typed out or printed out or show up on these panels, this is where you're going to want to come. You'll want to make sure that if you want it centered, that you pick one that's centered. If you want one in the lower left corner, you pick one that's in the lower left corner. There's a lot of editing opportunities from within these titles, but they don't move around the panel. So once you pick one, it's going to stay in the center. You're not going to be able to click and drag it to where you want it to be. If you want it actually lower left, you need to start with one that's in the lower left. All right, I'm going to actually pick this title, and all you have to do again is just drag it, and it'll drag above where you are, above your video or image. And then to type the title that you want or the text that you want, you just come into this box here and then type what you want. So we're going to do the first twinkle twinkle little star. And you can change the font type, you can change the font size, you can change if it's bold, italicized, open or not. In fact, maybe we might want to do that to give it a little bit more definition on top of this look. Okay, and you can size it down too if you wanted it to look a little bit more in line with what you want. And then if you wanted to make sure that the title goes all along with that particular clip, you can just drag it just like you do everything else in here. And if you wanted to add another title, you just drag and drop it and then type the next text. And that's it. And then we can just drag and drag that one as well. Oops, I'm gonna click out of it to make it take. And then you can just keep doing that with all of the text that you need. If you want to do credits for your video, there's a really cool scrolling credits option. If you just want regular base text, you can use any of these other options as well. But if you want the scrolling text, you can just drag it onto the timeline. Okay, and then you can just change it and add in credits for your images, your videos, audio. Even if you get something from a site that says it doesn't need to be credited, I think it's always a good idea to go ahead and give credit where credit's due. So I would go ahead and make sure that you say where you got images and who maybe produced those. It's just always a good idea if you can. Okay, backgrounds. If you wanted an intro screen just to kind of introduce your poem with the name of the poem and who wrote it, you can use just a plain background or a gradient. They have these other options here as well. There's underwater, this blob. It's got a little bit of animation with it, and then you can overlay some text on top of that as well. And then finally, we can add transitions between clips so they're a little bit more smooth and don't just chop from one thing to another. What I would recommend is that if you do use transitions, which I do recommend, that you find one that you like and stick with it. So I'm going to use this cross blur, and all you got to do is just click it and drag it to the timeline, and then you can drag it in between the clips. It defaults at 1 second. You also have the opportunity to change the duration of these as well. You can double click it and the duration option comes up. You can apply it to just this one, or you can apply it to all. So if you wanted a longer transition, you could do that, or a shorter transition, you could do that and apply it to everything in your movie as well. Okay, so now we've got a little bit of text, a little bit of music, and some transition. And some credits at the end that'll scroll. And so other than a title and of course more content, you're basically ready to go. So once you have a production piece that you're really ready to send to YouTube or save as a file, you just go up here to the export option, share it. You can share it via email, you can share it via YouTube or Vimeo, and you can save it as a file. I mean, you can do other things with it as well, but obviously these will be kind of the go-tos. If you want to do YouTube, you just click on that, and it'll open up this option here, and make sure that you've got the entire thing selected. Yeah, we do. And you would sign into your YouTube account, set the resolution, category, and privacy function. Make sure if you're sharing this with your instructor and other people that you have it, set so they can see it. And then go through the menu, and it'll automatically upload to YouTube for you. If you'd rather save it as a file and upload it later, or share it with somebody individually, you can do that through here as well. You just click Save as File, and it'll save onto the computer. All right, that's iMovie in a nutshell. And hopefully this will give you an idea of how to get started with some of the specifics of pulling in movie clips, pulling in images, pulling in audio, adding text and transitions, and intro pages, and of course credits.